Okay, this is just a small video based on a request Niaz Khan had regarding why he couldn't replicate the last action he'd done. What he was trying to do was basically duplicate and move the cube. So he'd duplicate it, then move it, and then do Shift+R, and that's what happened, basically. And the reason for that was, what was happening is he was duplicating it, then moving it. I know that sounds silly, but that was two actions. He duplicated it, Shift-D, then pressed Escape, then moved it. That's two actions. And you can prove that by, if I pull up the repeat history, duplicate, move. And again, like I did before, duplicate, move. Now, to have that happen in one action, what you do is you don't do any press return or anything like that. So if we, instead of pressing Escape, if I do return, so Shift-D, and I pressed Escape there, which for some reason doesn't show up on the keys, then move, two actions. Now, if I do Shift-D, I've not done anything else now, I'm not touching the mouse, I'm not touching the keyboard. I immediately press Y to say I'm going along the Y axis, press 3, and it goes along 3. Or then I can press the minus key, press the minus again, and I can alter the direction. Now that's one action, and you can tell that because if we open the panel, you can see that we've duplicated it and moved it 3 on the Y axis. So now, if I Shift-R, it duplicates and moves. Again, if we look at that, Shift-Alt-R. Oh. For some reason, there's very strange things happens with these where it forgets the key pads. But you can see it's just duplicate object. That, I'm not sure if this is a hiccup with my machine or with 8.2, but a lot of the time in the 3D view, the shortcuts just stop working. As you can see, they're now grayed out. They just don't work. So again, we'll do that. Shift-D, Y, 2.4. Hit return, Shift-R, Shift-R, Shift-R. So it's all done in one action. Now, if you do accidentally, so if I do Shift-D, boom, hit return, now at that point, before you try to move it, you can put 2 in here. Should change the value. And now if I Shift-R, it'll duplicate that because I haven't pressed return or anything. And the same holds true in edit mode. If I go into edit mode with top view in ortho, move that along the x-axis a bit. Move that, say, okay, 15. There we go. Right. I can Shift-D and return R. Actually, let's undo that. GX15. Let's change the pivot point to 3D cursor. That's what I really wanted to do. So Shift-D, return, R30. I Shift-R, and it does the last action, which is move. However, if I Shift-D, don't press anything else, now press R30 and hit return, you can see from the panel that it's added duplicate and rotated it all 30 degrees on the x-axis using the view orientation. And now I Shift-R. Now the only thing with that is when you're doing it in one action like that, you can't use math. So if I can do Shift-D R 12.5, that's fine. But if I do Shift-D R 360 divided by 6, doesn't work. And as you can see, the angle there is not remotely 360 divided by 6. But what you can do, providing you've not done anything else, as is always the case with panels in Blender, 360 divided by 6. Now if I come here and do Shift+R, oh, no, didn't like it because I'd hit return. So we'll do that again. I made the same mistake there, so Shift+D, R, 0.1. Let's do 360 divided by 6. Now I've just moved the cursor there, but I've not clicked it. So I do Shift+R now, it's alright. You see, I clicked there, so let me just do that again, show you again. This is all subtle differences. I do Shift+D, R, 1, return, and then I can put 360 divided by 8 in there. Move the cursor here, but I've not clicked the cursor and I've not pressed any keys. Then Shift+R and it'll move. So that's fine. However, if I do same thing, Shift+D, R1, change that to 360 divided by 8, and if I come here and then click, all I'm repeating is the click of the left mouse button. So it's not actually doing anything. So it's all down to not performing that action. Shift+D, R1, I can change that in there, 60 divided by 8, and then not pressing anything else, Shift+R, and it'll work. And that applies for anything as well. I can do it on an extrude. I can select that face, do EX1, return, and then Shift+R does it like that. But again, if I EX1, EX1, return, click, Shift+R does nothing because it's just trying to do the one last click. It all hinges on not doing any actions. EZ1, R30. Oh, actually, yeah, curiosity, let's just put this on the medium point, select that. EZ1, R30. Why? You can see that that's only obeying the thing. Let's try that again. EZ5, R30. Why? Yeah, you can't do that because it's, you can't use a compound statement basically. So I can EZ1, return, R30, Y. I could do that, but I can't join those two actions together. I can only ever perform the last action. However, what you can do is you can make use of the repeat history. So if I pull up the repeat history, go edit, repeat history, I can extrude region and move. I can then rotate. Extrude region and move. Rotate. So you can do things that way. So that's one way of doing it. So you can have multiple actions, but you have to keep calling the repeat history up. And for some reason, oh, that does help if you press the right key press, you dozy fool. I've been pressing the wrong key press for the history. So Alt-Shift-R, extrude and move. And let's just change this to normal. R30, Y, minus. There we go. Extrude region and move. There you go. Now the only difference there is I was specifying a direction. So if I E1 there, you see that that extrude follows that. I do R30 Y, and I now then pull up that. And we just duplicate this a couple of times. So that's not giving you necessarily the same as this doing it bit by hand. So E1 R30 Y minus, we'll have it going that way, E1 R30 Y minus, E1 R30 Y minus. So you can see the difference there. So some things, although you can use them, you don't necessarily get away with it. But repeat history is very good for things like, if I take this, I know I'm going off on a tangent here, I do apologise, but I just thought I'd show it while I'm at it. So there's my bevel, and I'll do another bevel here, and I'll just put a different bevel on it. Now if I select that one, I can bevel that one. If I select that one, I can bevel that one. And I select that one, I can bevel that one. And bear in mind, each time you select it, that action then becomes the top one. So that's now the top one. If I then select this item and select the top one, it does the rounded one. If I select that one and do the one below it, it does that one. But it does mean in situations like that, you can duplicate it, and then you say, oh, actually I want to apply that bevel to the multiple items, like that. There you go. So that was a slight aside, as it were, from the initial, but another little handy tip using the repeat history. It's a often overlooked tool. Right, that's that. Hope it helped.